Hello traders, today is June the 6th. My name is Neville Hornsey. I'm a market analyst for YouTrading, and today I'm looking at the week ahead. Okay, I'm going to start with the YouTrading.com Forex heat map. You can see that the pound is the strongest across the board, closely followed by the commodity pairs down here, the Aussie, CAD and New Zealand dollar, all doing very well. We've also got some moves into the euro. If we go to the headlines that came out this morning at the London Open, we can see that a confidence vote in the UK Prime Minister Johnson is to occur tonight between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. We'll get the votes, the actual results back as quickly as they can count them. And then we'll work out whether or not there's going to be a leadership contest of which Prime Minister Johnson is no longer able to take part in. If he gets through this with confidence from the Conservative sort of benches, then he won't be challenged for another year, taking us into 2023, 2024. Looking at the scheduled data, Monday the 6th of June has no tier 1, tier 2 data. We're all waiting now for the cash rate from the RBA and then their statement. If we go to the active trader platform, just scroll up to the Aussie yen, you can see that the sentiment is looking for 61% of traders on this platform to go short. So, we are fading them. We are seeing that the Aussie yen is above the 9-period moving average. It is pushing up against the sort of upper Bollinger Band lines, and we're looking to see if we can get back above 96, get above the swing high here to this uptrend sort of continuing. Aussie US dollar. Looking here, we've got the 200-period moving average acting as like a magnet at the moment. It's acted as resistance at the end of last week. Looking to see if we can get back above that, then see if we can come up to the 0.74, up to the 0.74578 into this little balance area here. See if there's any more sellers in this deep retracement. Looking at the Euro Aussie, looking to see if that trades inversely. We've got the 9-period moving average here acting as resistance today. We are outside the sort of rising channel. So looking to see if that now comes down, see if we can take profits towards a 1.46, maybe all the way down to 1.42.5. If we go down to the pound versus the Aussie, obviously the sentiment indicator here on the active trade platform, 93% are trying to go long. We look at the actual price action, that is in a downtrend, looking to see if the 9-period moving average acts as resistance or whether or not we get a push up to the 1.75, the low of 31st of May, and then see if we get a fall back down. Going back to the economic calendar, we've got Canadian information coming in tomorrow, the IV PMI, looking to see if that just comes in slightly weaker than before. We did have Chinese PMIs this morning. We go to the Chinese Cajun Services PMI. That came in previously at 36.2. But here we can see that the PMI for April came in at 41.4, so much better than the previous. The composite PMI came in a lot better than previous as well. So that came in at 42.2. So again, more good news out of China. That's good for the economy. Then we've got Wednesday. The hump day is very quiet, not expecting anything. Then Thursday, we've got Euro ECB press conference following their refinancing rate and their monetary policy statement, looking to see whether or not they hold rates. It's the June. So they have been talking about raising rates, whether or not they do it in June or July. Obviously, it looks like the market participants that were surveyed on this data are expecting that to happen in July. Then we get the weekly unemployment claims from the US, and then Canadian Bank of Canada Governor Macklem speaks. So we should get a little bit of movement in the US dollar, maybe the USD CAD on Thursday afternoon. And then Friday, we've got unemployment change in the Canadian economy, plus the core and CPI month over month for the US. So I think once we get past the ECB rate hike on Thursday, everything sort of turns towards the US CPI to see whether or not there is a continued slowdown or whether or not there's an acceleration in the rising inflation. Obviously, inflation has become very political now. We had President Biden saying that he was going to tackle inflation by reducing the deficit, and he's instructing the US Treasury to do so. We're looking to see whether or not there is actually a pullback in the inflation and whether or not essentially the energy prices come down too, because that's kind of what President Biden needs to happen before the midterm elections. Otherwise, he probably and his party will have a tough time going into the last 2 years of his presidency. Looking at our euro versus US dollar trade, we are taking some heat at the moment. We are trading between the highs of the 30th of May and the lows of 1st of June, we're kind of in that sort of zone, looking to see whether or not the US dollar can catch a bid. Pound versus the yen, like the other yen crosses, is going higher. So we're looking to see if the pound continue in this bull trend up to towards the 168, maybe up to the 170. Pound US dollar is doing well. We saw that pound on the Forex heat map was doing well across the board. It is trading within the range of the 1st of June, though it is back above the 9-period moving average, looking to see if we test the highs from 26th of May. A lot of that will depend on the dollar index. Obviously, if the euro is going higher, we can expect to see the dollar index coming lower. But this close above the 9-period moving average was a signal to go long. So I am expecting the US dollar to actually go higher, see if we can get back up to the 103, 104, possibly up above the swing high here towards the 105 to 106 levels. Energy is rising up in a sort of quite a neat channel. We can see that the 120 has been a magnet a couple of times. We were tested it on 31st of May, then the 3rd of June. And today we took out that high from Friday, looking to come back lower. If we take out the low from Friday, then we could be coming back down as we would have broken out of this rising channel, looking at some point, in my belief, to test this 200-period moving average, even though we are in a longer short-term uptrend. Gold is having a hard time around the 1850, looking to see if we can break out of this sort of consolidation pattern. If we were to break out of the sort of lower line here, if we were to extend between the two swing lows and then push out, we could obviously trade up into the balance area of 1881, but I am expecting this 200-period moving average to act as resistance at some point, and then for us to come lower towards the 1800. But that obviously takes the dollar to go higher. Looking at the benchmark index, the S&P 500, we are consolidating over time rather than price. So we've made a push up. We've got back above this swing high here from the 17th and 18th of May. That's acting as support. Looking to see if we can break higher now above 4,200, and then see if we can test the 200-period moving average, which is also this bunch of highs that I've been sort of banging on about around 4,300. Closer to home, obviously, we had the bank holidays over Thursday and Friday. Today's the UK FTSE 100 has opened up higher, looking to see if we can take up the relatively equal highs up here around 767, and maybe this swing high here from the 10th of February, which would take us up towards all-time highs. Maybe see if we can test that 8,000 rather than get stuck underneath the 7,800 to 7,900. And finally, the German DAX, that's obviously leading the way. This is what I'm expecting the rest of the markets to do. I'm expecting this consolidation over time to compress under the 200-period moving average. And then if we look to the left, if we can get back above the highs from the 29th of March 2022, then I think we come up and test around the 15.5, maybe find a bit of support from the 200-period moving average. When we break through, come back down, test it for support, and then break higher. So I'll be looking for that trade. And ultimately, we need to get through this old support level here around 14,900 to 15,000, get back above that, and then see if that old resistance then becomes support again. So looking into the economic calendar one more time, Tuesday night, so in the Asia Pac session, we're looking for the RBA rate statement, looking for them to raise rates. I think that's baked in now, but we are expecting the Aussie to sort of gain a little bit. Then Thursday, everything sort of stops until we get through the ECB press conference, looking to see whether or not they're going to expedite their rate hikes this year. And then everything moves sort of focused towards the US inflation data on Friday afternoon. All right, good luck this week, and I'll speak to you again tomorrow.